Shows Gilda Radner and John Belushi as tourists walking down the street. Shows Phil Hartman in a red suit and Chris Farley holding a camera walking towards Radner and Belushi down the street. Hartman stops Radner and Belushi and says, "Now I'll say, what a good-looking couple we have here. You two from out of town." Belushi, "How'd you know that?" Hartman looks down at the fanny pack Belushi is wearing and says, "Oh, I've just been around here a long time. I know the residents from the tourists. Now, how long you two been dead?" Radner, "About 10 years. Hartman, "Well, that's lovely. Now, do you two hear the big news?" Belushi, "What big news?" Radner, "You mean the passing of Queen Elizabeth?" Hartman nods towards Farley, filming the exchange, and says, "That's correct, and I'm here to document the response people have to the event. So how does the Queen's passing make you feel?" Belushi shrugs and says, "I don't know. Whatever. I'm an American." Radner, "But because we are guests in your country, we do appreciate the monumental loss this is for you." Hartman, "Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Mate, do you share your wife's sentiments?" Belushi, Sure. Hartman, "Well, that's good, because there's a special afterlife performance by the departed." Radner, "Wait, the Queen is performing?" Hartman, "That's right." Belushi, "I didn't know she was a performer." Hartman, "Well, you both will have the opportunity to see the performance, if you're able to answer the trivia question. Who is the longest reigning British monarch?" Belushi, I got this. I watched that show on HBO. He was that bratty kid who was a little punk to everybody. Radner, "Babe, I tried telling you before. Game of Thrones is not based on a true story. Who is Queen Elizabeth II? Hartman, "This isn't Jeopardy, so you didn't have to answer in the form of a question, but we're going to give you 2 tickets to see Queen perform anyway." Belushi and Radner begin to celebrate and hug. Hartman, "For just $2,000. Belushi and Radner stop celebrating. Belushi, $2,000, let's beat it. Radner, "But honey, she just died, and we're on the trip we've been planning our whole afterlives. Why not? You're only dead once." Belushi, Fine. Cuts to Radner, acting excited, and Belushi acting bored, sitting in an audience auditorium waiting for the show to start. Radner, "I wonder if she sings and dances or just talks about her life. This will be so interesting, a truly historical moment." Belushi, "I guess we'll see." Shows Norm Macdonald sitting next to Belushi, who leans over and says to the couple, "Don't worry, folks, the guy outside told me it was guaranteed to blow my mind." Shows Hartman in a suit on stage who says, "Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please give a warm welcome to who you've all been waiting for, Queen." The stage goes black. A spotlight goes on and it shows Freddie Mercury on the stage playing the piano. "Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy? Caught in a landslide, no escape from reality." Radner, "What the hell?" Belushi becomes excited and exclaims, "Hell yeah, he'll rock us." Mercury, "I'm just a poor boy. I need no sympathy, because I'm easy come, easy go, little high, little low. Any way the wind blows doesn't really matter to me. And dead from the earth, we're not alive. It's Saturday Not Alive, starring John Belushi, Chris Farley, Phil Hartman, Jan Hooks, Norm Macdonald, Gilda Radner, Anitra Vance. Musical guest, Fred Astaire. And your host, Queen Elizabeth. Everybody, Queen Elizabeth. Applause, applause, applause. Shows Queen Elizabeth I, who says, "It is my very greatest privilege to introduce to you the longest reigning British monarch in history, and a monarch that I am proud to say was the second of my name. Ladies and gentlemen, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II." Queen Elizabeth II comes out. Applause, applause, applause. Elizabeth. Thank you so much. And thank you, Queen Elizabeth I. I was born Elizabeth Alexandra Mary in 1926 to the Duke and Duchess of York. I did not become heir to the throne until my uncle, King Edward VIII, abdicated the throne, acceded to by my father, George VI. In 1940, at the age of 14, I gave my first radio broadcast, a speech to children displaced by World War II. In 1945, Sean Connery comes out and bows his head. Connery. Sorry to interrupt, Your Majesty. Elizabeth. Sir Sean Connery, welcome. Applause, applause, applause. Connery. The reason I'm here is because I've been, let's say, surveilling the landscape here at the show, and I believe there may be trouble afoot. Elizabeth. What's the trouble? Connery. There's a maniac running the place who has the last name King. I'm worried he's going to make an inappropriate gag. Shows Chris Farley, Norm Macdonald, Phil Hartman, and John Belushi carrying Philip Seymour Hoffman as Joe King on a palanquin. The four place the palanquin on the ground, and Hoffman steps off and waves to the crowd. Tepid applause. Hoffman looks towards Elizabeth, bows his head, and says, "While I do not have to bow to Your Majesty, I do so out of respect. Royalty recognizes royalty." Elizabeth rolls her eyes. Connery gets in between Hoffman and Elizabeth. Hoffman, trying to look past Connery, blocking him, says, "Now I'm always looking to improve upon the conditions here in my kingdom, okay, this show. So, Your Majesty, I am here to inquire whether you'd be willing to be the queen to my king." Prince Philip comes out and stands next to Elizabeth. Elizabeth. Are you joking? Hoffman. Indeed I am. Elizabeth. Thank you for the joke then, if you don't mind. As Connery picks up Hoffman and begins to carry him off stage, Hoffman says, No, that's not what I meant, okay? I wasn't joking. Okay, my name happens to be Joe King. Elizabeth. I had a life fit for a queen. In addition to my spouse here, Prince Philip, I want to make special mention of two people who I met at different times in my life, both of whom I am proud to have known, and am grateful I was able to call dear friends. Winston Churchill and Nelson Mandela. Churchill and Mandela come out. Applause, applause, applause. Elizabeth. It's inevitable that I should seem a rather remote figure to many of you, a successor to the kings and queens of history. When I was 14, I said during a wartime radio broadcast, when peace comes, remember it will be for us, the children of today, to make the world of tomorrow a better and happier place. The world is a better and happier place than it was 82 years ago, during World War II. I am grateful for that. And I look forward to the men and women of today continuing the progress of making the world of tomorrow an even better and happier place. We have a great show tonight. One of my all-time favorite performers, Fred Astaire, is here. So stay to find the happiness we seek when we're out together dancing cheek to cheek. We'll be right back.